repeaters for UHF, VHF. The frequencies are taken over by taxi companies. Secondly, I do HF, but Bogota has 14 million people. I live in a high-rise on the 16th floor, and I have an antenna. I'm on the penthouse on the roof of tower with the hex beam, and just recently, the last couple of years, I've had S9 plus noise level. We have a bank next door. We have transformers. There's the Spanish ambassador's house across the street, as well as the Russian compound, a little compound there. And who knows what's causing it, but we have issues. As far as the HF community, there's probably a handful of folks. Fortunately, in Colombia, the people who use ham radio do it illegally. When you're outside of Bogota, it's also just very illegal. And so there's not much of the legal guys like me. In the United States, I'm Kilo Delta 2 Alpha Lima Victor. I'm extra out there. But that's the story here. Back to you, sir.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate. I don't know what they talk about, though, if they're using it illegally on the radio. So, I don't know what they're doing over there. They're having an event. I'm just walking past the local area. I'm out walking, morning walk, and when I get back, I'll be off to my Pilates class. Start to try and do a bit exercise. I suppose it's with all the other things going on, they just get on with it then and use up the radio channels. But how much radio is in the decline, I think, around the world? The Americans lost 1,000 hams last year, so I suppose that may increase. But there's a lot of elderly people now involved in the hobby, and that's a good thing.
Yes, I got into the hobby when I was 52. I owe 54, something like that. A lot of UHF, VHF, digital, right? I'm on a network. It looks like an HT. It's a Raspberry Pi. It's from a company called ClearNode, RLS. I understand a lot of people are on digital and have given up HF. In Colombia, taxi companies use it commercially to talk to their taxi, like there's a little command center for the taxis, right, for each company, and they use it for that. And then, unfortunately, Colombia has a big narco traffickers and guerrilla groups outside of Bogota who use this form of communication as well. The U.S. Embassy here, as well as the police, and the defense also has a lot of ham radio and VHF, UHF stuff, to monitor. Where my kid goes to school, high school here, they actually have a lot of audio devices, believe it or not. It's in the Andes, in the mountains, and it's a U.S. school. 10% of the school is from the embassy, so they take security very seriously. And on the ridge of the mountains, there are these not only U.S. patrols, but there's also these electronic devices actually listen in the woods out here. So this is a different place, Back to you, sir.
Yeah, I get that. And I know at one time, even in London, like the Russian embassy had big log periodic antennas suppose they still do on the roofs. I suppose in the event of something happening, then they can always drop back on radio if everything else fails. But yes, I mean, if you look around the world, other countries, I mean, we may go to war actually, so who knows what's going to happen. But if it happens, it happens. Nothing that we can do about it. But they're always banging the drum to frighten somebody. Well, it frightens me.
Well, it's going to frighten me because my son is applying to U.S. Naval Academy. He's already been accepted to what's called a seminar in Annapolis, USA, and Maryland in USA is a half hour away from Washington. So his chances have gone up tremendously because out of 12,000 kids that applied, my son got 2,000 get accepted, and my son was one of those kids. So today I met with some other folks that were in the military, special ops at there's one guy, special ops on Bragg, Fort Bragg in North Carolina. It's the biggest base that we have out there. And his daughter also just graduated actually the Coast Guard Academy. And he looked over my son's application and it seems like he's going to have a good chance of getting in. My son's also a pilot. And what he wants to do is be a pilot for the U.S. Navy. And there's no one more worried than me that he chose the Navy, you know, instead of the Coast Guard, you know. I wanted to go to the Coast Guard, but hopefully there will not be a war. But I share your worries. Back to you, sir.
I was looking at an article what the Americans have in radios. I don't know if you know it, the PRC 136. It's very clever. I'd like to see one. And it offers a lot of different communication systems involving satellites, data, obviously encryption and, you know, and all that. So, I think in some respects they probably outdo radio amateurs. I mean, we use video, obviously, with Jitsi and things, and over the internet. And of course, a lot of hams now are getting satellite with this Starlink thing and coming on. So, I think that will, hopefully, if these taxi drivers or other people in the jungle switch to Starlink, mind you, they might not want that. Because I just had a thought about the NSA. Mind you, the NSA are probably monitoring radio anyway. So, unless they've got encryption.
Yeah, so in jungles, VHF, UHF is pretty effective for short distances. And we do monitor, the U.S. does monitor UHF, VHF. They record everything. That's UHF, VHF, and HF, and they digitalize it, and they store all that information. God forbid if anything were to happen, then they go back in and take and listen to those QSOs, I guess. And there's also trigger words, right? That's used as well. So we're on top of that. As far as satellites, I think when I first arrived here, they were the narco terrorists. They were using satellite phones in the 90s. Believe it or not, they were much more sophisticated. The Colombian military, and yeah, they have the best stuff. But yeah, that's the situation here. It's a contrast, and so that's the thing. My son, we just getting everything ready for the application. He's taken all his tests. He'll be graduating in the summer, the military academy in Indiana, USA, Culver. And he'll have a good chance, of getting in. If he doesn't get in, there are a couple of other alternatives. I'm trying to get him, he has to be nominated by the President of the United States, Vice President, the Secretary of Defense, if we use our residency in Colombia. But if it is in the United States, a congressman, a senator, they have 5 nominations they could have for each state, and we're looking to get one of those in the States, but we'll see what happens. It's a long, it's a tough application. It's a long application. And my son is also working out for the physical that he'll have to take. And it's tough. I mean, his odds are 2 to 1, 50% at this point. But still, anything could get him out of the running. Back to you, sir. Do you have children?
No, negative. So something like that to be concerned about. And well, hopefully he'll make it, and he gets to the career path that he likes. So, and of course there are uncertain times really at the moment, all the things going on. So every day there's something new. I wonder if you're planning on staying in Colombia, or permanently, or if you're there for a period. And I don't know whether you use Peanut or not. I do use the Peanut for talking. I'm on the phone now with Echolink. So many ways to communicate and make contact and enjoy. I was reading an article in the RSGB magazine about a ham who got mental problems and how ham radio helped him. Getting across the road. I mean, it's got a lot of uses on the social side, which is probably underrated. It's not all about knowing how to make a capacitor.